I forgot to ask you what your name is.
Abdul.
Abdul what?
Abdul Al-Hilali.
And from where are you from?
From Qatar.
And what's your tribe name?
Al-Hilali.
Al-Hilali?
Yeah.
And when I show this to people there, they're going to know who you are?
Abdul Al-Hilali from Qatar. I love Sheikh Yusuf Estes. He's my, what can I say in English? My inspiration, is it right?
Inspiration is perfect. That's what we've been talking about all day with aspirations, inspirations, and ambitions. Perfect. All of that right here on Guide Us TV. Get guided with Abdul.
Cheers.
Guide Us
Thank
TV.
you very much.
Salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Nice salam.
A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a complete way.
And we're coming to you almost live from our portable studio right here in Beaver Creek. That's right, we're in Beaver Creek. Well, we're not in the creek. We're actually outside of the creek. We're inside of the masjid, but I guess you already knew about that, right? So what I would like to do right now is to tell you about this program. This is a very special program we're doing. We're back in Ohio. Yeah, I know. You're thinking, wow, it's been a long time since you've been in Ohio. It's been 4 years. 4 years since we left for California. And there's not a day goes by when I don't say, man, I'm glad to be in California. Oh, wait a minute. Alhamdulillah. Well, really where we live is a very nice place out there, but it's way too expensive. Don't go to California unless somebody is going to be your godfather. You know what I'm saying? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Anyway, the good news is that we are back here in Ohio. Do you know what is round on both ends and high in the middle? Ohio. You know, I heard this when I was a little boy. Yeah, that my grandmother told me that joke. So this is at least a 200-year-old joke. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. But you know what? There is a beautiful thing about Ohio, and that's the people that are here. All of the people here in Ohio are different, but they also have something in common. They have a good heart. Most of the people in Ohio have good hearts. And whenever you meet them, I want you to know, if you're new to America or new to Ohio, you should know that the people here really, except for being ignorant about some things, jahil, but they do have good hearts. So it's our responsibility to reach out to their hearts and let them see what Islam really is and feel what Islam really is. And then, inshallah, you'll see a lot of them will be supportive and some will even become Muslim. Just yesterday, day before yesterday, we were in a masjid. And I was opening up the program, and there was a brother, he was sitting with a cap like this, okay? But it was white, but it was like this. And he had big lehya. And he was sitting next to somebody who has no lehya, no cap, just regular clothes. And I said, is anybody here that's not Muslim? Both of them put up their hand and pointed to each other.
Kill him first.
So when I was thinking, what the heck, you know? So I said, which one is and I already figured out, you know, it must be this guy. And I said, who is the non-Muslim? The one with the beard and the cap, he stood up. And I was like, what? Are you sure? And he said, yeah. But then he told us later, he made Shahada, by the way. He came up on the stage and he did Shahada. Later we took him to IHOP, you know, to have coffee and stuff like that. And I was asking him, how come? You were wearing this cap and you have a lehya, He said, oh, I was also doing Ramadan. I was fasting, I was praying. And I said, you haven't made Shahada. He said, well, I was just waiting for the right thing. And this morning, I was watching one of your videos. And so my friend, the other one, he said, do you know Yusuf Estes is going to be here? And I said, really? I'm just watching this video. He said, you want to go? He said, of course. And he came out and he did Shahada. So see how their hearts are soft. They're very nice people. I'll give you another example. When we lived here in Ohio, there was a lady, she talked to my wife. And she said, she's very old. She said, if I come into Islam, what about my husband? I've been taking care of him for so many years. What should I do? Does Islam say something about that? It's amazing that she asked the question, because some of our youth, they think they know everything about Islam because they saw it on the internet, you know what I mean? Shake Google, right? So anyway, what happened? She got the idea, maybe I have to leave my husband and he doesn't have anybody to take care of him. He's very old. So my wife told her, listen, you stay with your husband, you make Shahada. Because, you know, they were beyond the age of, you know, I don't know if I can say this on the air, but anyway, making babies, all right? So that's exactly what she did. Well, guess what? I understood that her husband passed away, but he had made Shahada before he died. SubhanAllah. Look at this. The situation here in America is really a good one if we know how to talk to the people. Now, I'm going to show you something real easy. When a woman comes into Islam, for instance, and she says, well, I heard that Islam doesn't treat women equally like it treats the men. Last night we did a special about this subject, but I'll capsulize it for our audience here and for you guys at home too. I always like to ask them, what do you mean by equal? Because men usually are physically stronger than women, usually. I won't say always, because some women are pretty strong and I'm kind of weak, you know, so all right. But usually men are the stronger ones. And men are dedicated to work, but we get tired and we want to sleep. But women, they work all day and all night, and they get to stay up with the babies, and they're cooking and they're working all the time. But they can do that. We can't. When I need to go to sleep, I need to go to sleep, all right? That's it. But for the woman, she hears that baby cry, oh, she's up and taking care of the baby. So they're not equal. The men have their strength and the women have their strength. So it's a different kind of strength, though. And this is what we want to focus on a little bit to get the idea how to talk to the people. For instance, everybody here in this room is men, and I think we have some sisters in the back. Is it right? I don't know. Anyway, so whenever you're going to talk to the brothers, the men, anywhere you see a man, you're talking to him, you like to talk about logic. Maybe you talk about sports, maybe you're talking about news or politics or something, but you're always talking about logic. You see how that is? You see how it is? That's how it is. This is how something is logic. And okay, when you talk to a woman, don't use that. Don't use that. Talk to the heart. Because logic is from the brain, right? Women have brains, no doubt. But when you talk to them, see how that feels? Because they're all about feelings. When you talk about feelings, how do you feel about that? Don't say, how do you think about it? How do you feel about it? You'll be surprised how you catch the women's attention right away. Right away. They'll be looking at you like, okay, this guy understands. Because men and women are not equal, but one is not better than the other. That's not what we're saying. For instance, I'll give you an example for something. I'm from Texas, so we talk about trucks a lot, all right? Pickup trucks versus vans. Now, I have vans, I have pickup trucks. Through my life, I had both. Why do I have a pickup? Because I need the back end to put a bale of hay, or maybe I'm going to put my horse back there or something like that. That's why it's open up. I can get stuff in and out. Why do I have a van? Well, logically, here we go with the logic. Yeah, I'm going to put the stuff in there that I don't want it to get wet. Maybe I'm even going to put the seats up. Maybe put the seats up and let my kids or my grandkids ride in there along with the other stuff, right? That's logic. But when I'm going to talk to the woman about it, it's same thing, but about feelings. I feel that the children should have a place to sit too. You see? So a van and a pickup are different, but I need both. And a woman and a man are different, but we need both. And obviously we need both to have babies. And the Prophet ﷺ said that he would like for the Muslims to have as many children as possible, but always through marriage, not accidentally. You know what I'm saying now. No accidents. So this gives us an idea, a little bit of an idea, about how to talk to the people. Now, I told you guys before we went on the air, I was going to tell you, and this is a different part of our program now, how we can get Hajj. How can you get free Hajj and no visa? No visa required. I got everybody's attention on that. No visa. This year. You don't have to wait. This year. They're only going to allow 60,000 to come to Mecca.
They have to already be in Saudi.
Huh?
You have to already be in Saudi.
Oh, and you already need to be in Saudi right now to get the visa. But I will show you how you can get the Hajj without the visa. Does anybody already have an idea what I'm talking about? Well, when we come back, we're going to tell you more about that. So everybody stay tuned and stay guided with Guide Us TV. You're watching The Newsroom, Islam Newsroom. The news you want when you want it, from the Islamic perspective.
Now we have some websites, alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Who is Allah?
Maybe we'll even see somebody enter into Islam.
Excuse me, do you believe in God?
Why do we call him Allah?
One more time, everyone. Okay, good.
These are the ones that we're going to be mailing out. Ilaha. Illa. Allah.
And I bear witness. That Muhammad.
And that's right, we're right across the river from Palestine, as a matter of fact, here in Aqaba. The new moon, the Hilal, has been sighted for the month of Shawwal.
When the adhan is called, it doesn't matter where you are. You go and you make your salah, alhamdulillah.
Now, I think this is something that, inshallah ta'ala, we'll all be able to benefit from.
Log in now and make your contribution today to support your favorite project at donatetoislam.com.
And that's exactly how you can donate for Islam. DonateIslam.com. Be sure that you take advantage of this opportunity, and be sure that you do something regular. The thing that you do regular, even if it is small, is more beloved by Allah than the thing you do big, but you only do it once. So be sure you do something on a regular basis, even if it's so small. And by the way, also make dua for us. And when you're making dua, say us and include yourself, because you are helping us keep on going, because we take no advertising. We do not accept commercials. Even Muslims who ask us all the time, put our business or put our practice or whatever we're doing, but we don't take any advertising. So guys, you're getting the full reward for what we're doing by support. So include us in your dua and say us, meaning you too. All right? All right. Now, I was talking before we took the break, I was talking about the situation of man and woman, and also about Hajj. But I would like to clarify something that they remind me of in the break, that when I was talking about the different prisons that got to see Guidance TV that we know of, it was Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, watching us on the antenna, but the satellite is broadcasting all over the United States and Canada and Cuba, and so that's how the Guantanamo detainees, they call them detainees, yeah? They don't know what else to call them, I guess, but they watched Guide Us TV. How we know, one of them talked to us on the phone, and he said that the one thing that they really enjoyed while they were there was getting to see Guide Us TV. It was the only Islamic channel that they got to see, but they really appreciated that. And I guess they let them watch it because it was in English and everybody knew what it was. Because, to be fair, I watched some of the Arabic channels myself when I first came to Islam, and the way that they were shouting in the microphone, it scared me. I was like, whoa. So I can imagine, they said, whoa, these guys are telling them to throw bombs at somebody or something. But they were probably just saying, the meaning of Alhamdulillah is, and he was like, what? Anyway, so we want to come to this subject. Anybody who would like to have the reward for Hajj, Mabrur, which means accepted, right? All they have to do, get up in the morning, make wudu, go to the masjid, and pray the Fajr and the Subh, and stay there in their place till the sun rises up, and get up and do 2 rak'ah. After the sun comes up, it's about 20 minutes or so. Different madhab, they have a different idea, but 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. Stand up and do 2 rak'ah, and this is Hajj. And Umrah. What? Yeah. And you can get that every single morning. So I want to encourage myself and all of us that as much as we can get to the masjid and pray in the morning, do the salah with the brothers, good to go. How many of you already knew that? I knew you knew that. Sheikh, you already knew that. Yeah, I know. He's laughing right there. So this is, and I know that it seems too simple. But how many people come for Jummah Salah on Friday? How many? But you don't see them there for Fajr, do you? Why? Because it's hard. It is hard for them. It's easier for them to come for the Salat Jummah than it is to come for Fajr. But that's not to say that you don't get a big reward for Jummah. Of course you do. The Jummah Salah, look at this. All of the sins, all the itham, I don't know about Masih, but all of the itham for sure, from one Jummah to the other is forgiven. Now one time when I was in Colorado, and I was talking to the brothers there about this subject many years ago, one of the brothers said, well, if I'm going to get forgiven for everything, then I'll just come and do Friday Jummah, and I don't even have to pray until next Friday. But that would be masiyah. That would be really big. This is maybe some ulama, they even said this is kufr, to leave the salah. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever leaves the salah, laysa min, is not from us. So, I don't know, but I'm just saying. So, what did I say to the brother? I didn't talk about all that because I'm not a scholar. I don't want to talk like a scholar, but so I just asked him, well, inshallah, then it means right after you do the Jummah Salah, you should be making dua, because it will be accepted. Say, Allah, kill me right now. He's like, what? Said, yeah, just ask Allah to kill you right now, because if you live until Asr and you don't pray Asr, then I mentioned the hadith. Laysa min. He's not from us who leaves the Salah. So, because you don't know that you're going to live all the way to next Friday, maybe you won't. I don't want you to die in a state of a mixture here. So he got the message. I said, do the salat. He said, okay, Daddy. All right. Alhamdulillah. Baba. Anyway, so I just wanted to remind myself and all of us of the importance of coming in the morning for the salah, for the fajr. If you can, do it. And then if you can, stay long enough for the sun to come up and do 2 more rak'ah, Hajj and Umrah. This is a hadith sahih. Inshallah. Anyway, so the other thing that we're talking about is about women. Now, what is the difference between a man and a woman? And I'm not talking about biology 101. Okay? I think everybody knows about that. If you don't, you're too young to hear what anybody say anyway. But the thing about this, and I like what Dr. Jamal Bedawi told us one time. He said, it's not about equality, it's about equity. And I really was like, what? Equity? Equity? That means how much you own of something. Equity? Like how much do I have invested in a building or a house or equity? He said, yes. Because each one of us, we have something that's invested, and we want to protect what we have invested. I'm like, huh? But then he is explaining to us the idea behind it. What does a man need? What does a woman need? What does a man want? What does a woman want? They're not the same. Now, all Muslims want Jannah. Some of the Yahudi, Jewish, and some of the Christians also want Jannah. They really do want it. And by that I'm saying that they want it bad enough to really understand what the message of the prophets brought to them. La ilaha illallah. This is all we really need to convey to somebody. La ilaha illallah. All the rest of it, why do you move your finger in the salah? Who cares? If they're not a Muslim, who cares? Why do you just wipe over the top of your sock? Why don't you wipe the back? Who cares? You're not Muslim yet. Let's talk about La ilaha illallah. Even Muhammad Rasulullah, I'm going to wait. Don't accept Muhammad Sallallahu as a prophet, but you didn't accept that there's no God except Allah. It's not going to work. So this is the message. So this is the first thing. But I want to talk about women in general now. In Islam, Allah, He created everybody. So He knows what men need, and He knows what women need. So if you find in the Quran something very specific telling you, then that should be the answer. For instance, a woman should ask you, she's not Muslim, she should ask you, why do I have to cover up if I become a Muslim? Why can't I just believe in Allah? Well, that's a good question. It really is a good question. Now, if I don't know the answer, I should say, Allahu Alam, Allah knows best. Let's go find the answer together. Let's go to somebody who can give us the answer, and we'll learn together. Because number one, I don't want to draw a line between me and somebody else and say, you're on that side and I'm on this side. No. I want you to be on the same side with me. I'd still draw the line and I'll put you here with me, and we'll put Shaitan, the devil, on the other side. Because everybody who believes in Allah, even mixed up beliefs, they still believe there's a devil. And let's put him on the other side, because he's the one trying to get us to go to hellfire. Nari Jahannam, na'udhu billah. So, if I put the people on this side with me, then we can talk. Maybe I'm wrong. Hey, I've been wrong before. I was 50 years in Christianity. Hello? And I made a lot of mistakes. Even for the Christians, they would say, yeah, get out of here. You know? But still, if we put everybody on the same side and put the devil on the other side, you'll be surprised how easy it is to talk to somebody who's your brother in humanity. Not your brother in Islam, but your brother in humanity. And so this is a very good idea for us. Now that we have solved this problem and we've gone to a scholar, let's ask a scholar, why should a lady wear hijab? Okay, first and foremost, the Quran is the basis for everything that we do. But this person doesn't even know Arabic. In fact, most Muslims don't really know Arabic. They just recite something that they heard before, and they don't really know what it is. Today, inshallah, the Imam, he read for us very beautifully, mashallah. He read to us from the surah called Fajr. And that's definitely why I wanted to talk about the Fajr, Salah, okay? And he was talking to us about the Fajr. Then he was talking about Surah At-Tariq. And then, but if I don't know that, and I don't know the meaning of this, I lost a lot of it. So I'm not going to push somebody who doesn't even know Arabic, doesn't even know about the Quran, to all of a sudden, if you want to be a Muslim, you have to believe the Quran. And by the way, the Quran is not the Quran if it's in English. Okay, now you really fix me up. I don't know what to do. I'm scared now. I want to believe in one God, and that's cool, but this whole business of I got to believe something that I can't even read? Okay, so a good alim, a good knowledgeable person, he will start real easy with them and say, that's a good question. That's a good question. And he will say the same thing we said, Allahu Alam. Why? Because really Allah has all the knowledge, not us. And then, how would it be, you've heard this before, I'm sure, how would it be if we had something really valuable, like a diamond, like gold? Will we just leave it out on the table, people passing by, just lay it out on the counter and sit back and look the other way? No. We're going to hold it real tight, and in fact, we're going to cover it up. I was looking at, in a truck stop today, I was looking at these little teeny boxes, and I was thinking, that would be a cool place to put a little ring, like if you were going to propose or something, and just open it up, and that little cute, they looked like a big trunk, but it was real small. And I thought about that, and then, you know what? Why was I thinking about putting a ring in a box? Because it's valuable. You wouldn't ask somebody to marry you and say, oh, and by the way, I left the ring over there somewhere. Yeah, you can find it later. You wouldn't say that. No, it's a valuable thing. It represents a very special thing. So a woman's beauty is also a representation of her whole character. This is a very important idea, that she needs to feel good. See the feelings again? So she needs to feel good about herself. And the women who work in these places where they take off all of their clothes, they are not really happy. Did you know that? They are not really happy. Some of them do it for the drugs. Some of it do it for the money. But whatever they're doing, they don't feel happy about it. Because after they're by themselves, they laugh and make fun of the people out there. Is that happy? That's not happy. You should feel good about what you do. So, what about covering up? Now, who is the best? And I asked two sisters about this. Two ladies, and they were sisters in humanity, okay? There were two ladies who were going to the university in Florida, and they came to one of our group meetings that we had, and it was Ramadan. So we had question and answers, and they didn't say anything until everybody left. And then they came to me and they said, we have a question. I said, okay. What was your question? She said, why do the women have to cover up like that? And I said, what do you mean? She said, and I think she's talking about hijab. She wasn't. She was saying, you have the women behind a wall. Why do you have them behind this wall? Is it because you don't think they're good? I said, that's a good question. But before I answer your question, let me ask you a question. Are you Catholic? They said, yes. How do you know? Because I figured that they were going to Catholic university. All right. I'm not psychic. All right. So she said, yes. I said, then who are the best of the best of the best women in the Catholic Church? They both said the same thing. The nuns. I said, well, how do they dress? Oh, no. We're not talking about the dress. We're talking about the wall. I said, no, I'm talking about the wall too, but how do they dress? Well, they cover everything up. I said, why? When they looked at each other, I don't know. I said, because they are protecting the view of others at them, and they're protecting themselves against the aspirations of the devil. Because the devil, he will try to inspire them to do this or do that. So they have the long dress on, they have their hair covered up, and yeah. They said, oh. Now, if these women are covered like that, you can see why the best of our women are the ones who cover up. They said, oh, that makes sense. Okay, good. But why the wall? I said, okay, I'm coming to that. Who is the best of your men? They said, the priest. I said, good. But who's better than the priest? They said, nobody. I said, no, wait a minute. What about the archpriest? Oh, yeah. What about the bishop? Oh, yeah. And then the archbishop? Oh, yeah. And then the cardinal? Oh, yeah. And then the pope on the top of all of them. They said, oh, yeah. So you see how it works? They said, yeah. I said, now, I want to come back to the lady, the nuns. So, whenever they have, our women, when they have a baby, they want to be able to nurse their baby. And how can they do that in front of the men? They said, oh, I said, well, what about your nuns when they get their baby? They said, no. A nun can't have a baby. I said, oh, really? Why? They can't get married. Like I don't know, right? I said, yeah, they can't get married. Okay, all right. So what about the men? Well, they can't get married either. Oh, okay. So the best of your women and the best of your men cannot get married, cannot have children, cannot have grandchildren. Only the worst of your people can procreate and give birth. And they looked at each other and went, oh. I said, Lakum dinakum waliya din. To you your way, to me my way. And then they called me to go eat some food for Ramadan, it's a fast breaking. And I didn't see them again. The next year, I went back to the same place at the same of Ramadan, and we were talking, and I told them the story of the brothers there, and they started laughing. Well, I was telling the story, and they were laughing all the way through it, and I'm like, what? Why are these guys laughing, But we're on the air and everything, and finally one of them said, Sheikh, they came back, and they're on the other side of the wall right now because they accepted Islam. So they understood, because we did what? We talk about feelings. When you talk to a woman about her feelings, having babies, oh, yeah. You talk about having dignity and having this self-worth. This is why a lot of women will tell you, we need to strike out. We need to be equal, because they don't feel like they have a self-worth. If men put them down and step on them and, yeah, you're this, you're that, you're nothing. I knew somebody who did something like this a long time ago. And that lady left him in the night. And when he woke up in the morning, where is she? I need her. Oh. And he starts crying and coming to me and telling me all that. Yeah, but how did you treat her? Well, she did stupid stuff. I said, oh, really? And you don't? All of us do stupid stuff, But only the people real close to us know how stupid we really are. And when we come to the masjid, or they go to the church, or wherever they go to business, they want to look like, I'm smart. Yep, I'm smart. But never mind that I fell asleep and was drooling like that. No, but she sees everything, but you see everything too. So this is something private. And Islam is teaching us all about privacy. And we don't share these things with other people. We don't tell anybody, oh, my wife did this or that. This is a tradition, even before Islam, the Arabs had this. They don't like to talk about, even today, you'll find Arabs, they won't say my wife, they'll say my family and my kids. What do you mean? Your family and your kids. They're not going to say my wife. They're just not going to point her out or something like that. And this is an idea about the privacy, the respect and dignity that you give to your spouse, you give to your mother, you give to your sister, you give to your daughter. You just don't put them up on a show. And by the way, in television broadcasting, we have to have some women on our shows. Otherwise, we can get in trouble, because you have to have a certain amount of share back and forth. But my whole family, except me, will say, no way. Don't put any of not my wife, not my granddaughters, not my daughters, none of them. Never. Okay? One time we were broadcasting like this, live in one of my daughter's homes. And while we were doing it, I made sure the camera was at me, and they just walked by. One of my granddaughters walked by, And they were flabbergasted. They were said, oh, you walk by. I said, the camera's pointed at me. They said, Daddy, there was a mirror behind you. I said, what? Oh. And I looked at that tape after it was over, and I saw somebody go through there, but you couldn't really see who it was. They said, no, erase that. Because why? Dignity. Want to be sure the children have that privacy. Now, when they get older, that's up to them. There is no force in Islam. I want to talk about this for the non-Muslims who are watching this right now. There is a verse in the Quran that makes it crystal clear that nobody ever could force anybody to become a Muslim. I know that there are some people that say, and I've heard it in history books too, they forced all of the people in the southern part of France to accept Islam, and they put the swords at their neck, blah, 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 and in Europe, and so on and so on. But the fact is, the Quran says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, لا إكراه في الدين قد تبين الرشد من الغي فما يغفر بالتقوت ويؤمن بالله فقد استمسك بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله سميع عليم. This verse starts out saying crystal clear, nobody is ever forced into Islam, because that does not exist. Understand it from this point. It's not just saying you shouldn't do it. It is impossible. Because if you force somebody, it's not Islam anymore. Because Islam has to come from the heart. We were talking about the hearts a little bit earlier, and the women are always the first to accept Islam. Do you know that? More women accepted Islam when I came into Islam, like 4-1. Then it became 5-1. And then after 10 years of being in Islam, I would notice if I give Shahada to one man, I could count on maybe 6 women somewhere coming into Islam. And it stays like that, always, always, more women, more women. However, the follow-up, what happens on the follow-up? And that's where we drop the ball, because we're not taking care of them. Now, a lot of brothers, to be fair, they're afraid to talk to the women because I could say something wrong and get some kind of shaitan could come to me, and so let the ladies do it. So this is why we developed something called New Muslim Academy. The New Muslim Academy, it has some brothers who are in Saudi Arabia, but they were originally trained by me here. And they are really doing a super job with the chats and then visiting with the ladies around the world and telling them and helping them to stay in Islam and learning about the salah, learning about the fasting, learning about the hijab. And this is a very good thing. And by the way, we also have sisters. One of the sisters, very famous in Australia, started out with us in the chat room, and she now, her name is Khadija, Zakaria, as a matter of fact, and she is doing a wonderful job for that. And I want to encourage all of the sisters who are watching right now, if you would like to talk to the sister there in Australia, look her up. And there's another sister in Texas, in Dallas, Texas, the area of Dallas, Texas, and her name is Nicole Queen. So you can look for her, and she can help you as well. These sisters have got a good track record of being converts to Islam, following up with Islam, and taking good advice from real scholars, and they can share that with you. MashaAllah. So the New Muslim Academy, Nicole Queen and Zakaria, also known as Khadija, in Australia, these sisters can really help. And I hope that you take advantage of that opportunity. Now, for everybody else, for males and females, we have something called Share Islam. Now, what is Share Islam? That's a website. but it actually goes into 10 of our websites so that you don't have to remember all the names of them. Just go to Share Islam. The first thing you land on, you can choose that, or you can look through the pictures, their images, and you can say, well, wait a minute, hey, there's a Bible there. I want to know about what's the Bible doing with the Quran there. What is that all about? BibleIslam.com, but you don't have to remember that. Just remember Share Islam. Science. We have Science Islam, but you don't have to remember that. Just remember Share Islam. Jihad. We have a whole section by scholars of Islam, translated into English. Some of them did their own English on it. It was really good. Telling us what is real jihad and when it is only the limits of jihad as far as a war. But that's not all. Jihad is a very wide word. Do you know that scholars, every time that they have to think about an answer, they're doing jihad? It's called ijtihad. Did you know that? Is jihad? Yeah, because they are striving and struggling to get the answer from the Quran and the Sunnah and the fatwa of all of the other ulama, and they study. That's called ijtima. Yeah. Everybody knows Arabic, and you say, oh yeah, well, it's from the same word. So that's one of the many things that it covers up. Anyway, they're telling me that we got to wrap this up. I wish we could keep talking, but tomorrow night, we got a program tomorrow night? Doctors. Oh, yeah, at our regular time. So tomorrow night at 6 o'clock in the Pacific Coast, Pacific Standard Time, there you go. Pacific Standard Time, 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock in Mountain Standard Time. Central Standard Time, it's going to be 8 o'clock, and Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. All right, so we'll be back on the regular schedule. I don't know where we're going to be broadcasting from, but we will be, inshallah, God willing, and the creeks don't rise, we are going to be live with you tomorrow with the doctors. We have Dr. Sultan, who you saw yesterday when we were with him in St. Louis, and we'll also have Dr. Ado in Tampa, Florida, who will be with us, and inshallah. So I will leave you now in the hands of Allah, and I ask Allah to keep us guided, and I ask all of you to help me tell everybody what to do, because I'm going to tell them to sit tight and stay guided with. I love the way you said that. Yusuf Estes, and I'm looking for something. Actually, I'm looking for someone. Is that someone you? I want dawah partners, and you can be my dawah partner right now. It's real easy. Just go to dawahpartners.com, sign up, and join me. There are 3 things that I would like for you to be able to do. Any one of them, or all of them. Beautiful. Number 1, you will make dua. So you can be our dawah partner, even if you don't go to the website, but I hope you do. Number 2, share. Share this message and let other people know about becoming dawah partners. And number 3, help us financially. Donate on a monthly basis, even if it's small. Allah loves the thing that you do regularly, even if it's small, more than the thing that you do that's really big, but you only do it once. Join me as a dawah partner. Do it now. Click, 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 click.